What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about mana today. Decentraland. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, you guys, and let's get into it, okay? It is the 21st of April. Here we are at about 31 cents right now. On a daily aspect, we have reached a price of almost 34 cents, 33.7 cents today, wicking down, finding a little bit of turbulence there from a high to a low. That is specifically at your 382. It is at the most relative area of resistance, so this isn't too weird. It's pretty normal. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if we return back to the 236, which is at 27 cents, and then build from there going to the golden ratio, okay? Golden ratio is at 48 cents to, what price is that? 53 cents, something like that. I very much do believe that that's where we're going to go. I think we'll find some resistance there, and probably we could go all the way back down to the 382. We might come back down. Instead of finding resistance at the area that we found resistance at today, we might find resistance or support at that area. It's very common to go from your golden ratio to your 382 when building higher, okay? It's also very common to go from your 382 to your 236 when building higher, right? These are just steps along the path of glory and riches that await us, right? I do very much believe that mana has found its low here. I think that we will validate that once we get above about 48 cents, and we will even validate the notion that we're breaking out of this long accumulation phase here once we get above about 77 cents. Yeah, if we get a week to close above 77 cents, I think that will be really even like 72 cents. I think that'd be very validating to the notion that we are breaking out of this accumulation zone, and we're seeing new all-time highs, or at least seeing new relative highs. I shouldn't say new all-time highs. New all-time highs inevitably, yes, but relatively speaking to this breakout move, I'm expecting new relative highs to what we've seen over the past couple of years. Now, some could argue that this is a distributive phase, right, down here, because we've got a flat top and we've got these descending lows here. I could see that, right? Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. Let's call it what it is. Mana is in a tough spot right now. Seeing lower lows like this is not a good thing. You need to validate that this is an accumulation phase, and by doing that, you need to break above the resistance line, right? If we do go lower, if we see prices that are below about 21 cents again, you guys, we're gonna have to call it. Mana's probably done. It's probably done. I'm not saying that it won't see prices that are higher than these highs inevitably by the end of this cycle, but it might be a bad thing. It would look like a really bad thing here. So all this time of accumulation, potential accumulation, would actually be looked at as distribution, and that could really set you up for some bad things. I do think that we would still grow by the end of the year with the rest of the market, but we wouldn't see new all-time highs. We'd probably stop at some area like this, throw off the bears, encourage any or entice any bulls who want to buy this OG coin, but not financial advice, not a financial advisor. I'm not talking about that scenario because I believe it's going to happen. I'm just saying, let's be fair. Right now, we're not in a good spot. With that being said, I very much do believe mana is going to move up here. I do believe that it will break through, and I do believe that we're going to see some phenomenal growth between now and the end of June. We've been in this price before in the last bull cycle, and we've seen in a matter of a 2-week time frame from literally this exact price to the high, we saw what would be right now a 7.8x in growth. So in no time at all, this thing can make some strides, and let alone that's a 2-week time frame that it took to move this high, right? From this week here to that week there, that was less than 2 weeks. Hell, even from the low here, it took 3 weeks to move at a dramatically faster pace. It took 3 weeks for this thing to move to do a 12x to almost a 13x, right? 3 weeks. We have 2 months to deal with. And if this thing wants to get bullish, it can get bullish in a very short amount of time. We could see some phenomenal growth and be worth multiple dollars by the end of June. Absolutely, we can. But first, we have to show some more strength. If we're looking at the weekly RSI here, even though we are working our way lower, we still have higher lows in the RSI. We're still not getting oversold. We are getting overbought. I think this is a good look. I think this is a sign of strength in itself. And I think that whenever it comes time to retracing from a high to a low, the all-time high to the low that we just formed in April 7th there, the first area that I would expect us to go to would be the golden ratio, which is at about $1.59 to $2.04. Somewhere where we found support before, somewhere where we found resistance before. This could be where we go. Now, this is the primary target. This is the first target that we have, and that would give us about a 5x to about a 6.5x from here. The average crypto is expected to do something on the lines of like a 4x to a 3.5x, somewhere in that zone. So seeing even the minimum target of this range would put you ahead of the pack as far as what this next move is going to provide. Now, I don't know about you guys, not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but I don't think that you've been accumulating for multiple years to stop at your first designated target area. You could, but that doesn't sound right to me. I would think that we at least go to the 786, which would overall from the current price provide a 9.1x move, potentially all the way up to the 886, which could provide a 12x move overall, 13x move almost. And maybe, even just maybe, we do go right to our all-time high areas and we see some crazy growth. Again, don't forget what this thing is, man. This is a very, very bullish coin. It's a very, very bullish chart. If we look at the monthly time frame here, I don't care what you say, about the past couple of years. We're talking about the overall lifetime of mana. This is one of the more bullish charts in crypto, man. Look at this thing, right? It's got higher highs cycle after cycle, higher lows cycle after cycle, and where you're even in your pits of despair, right, and disbelief and uncertainty, you're finding support now at prior all-time highs. This is a good thing. This is very good from a structural standpoint. It's not a bad thing, and all we need to do now is complete the thought and break out of this accumulative zone here, and I think that we will. When it comes time, I want to see actually real quick from a low to a high. What do we do here? At the 0.5, just wicking below it. A lot of cryptos have been finding support at the 0.5 actually. Whenever we get above, from this fib here, when we get above about $1.42 on a weekly closing basis, on a monthly closing basis, a multi-daily closing basis, whatever have you, when we close above about $1, let's say $1.43, that will validate the notion that we are in fact going to take this high out. So $1.43 is a very important area to watch. I think we're going to crush that. I think we'll crush $1.43. I really do think that we'll be above $2, maybe even above $3 by the end of June. But $1.43 is important to pay attention to, because once you break above that, you're earmarked for new all-time highs. And the minimum target for new all-time highs is $15. The maximum target might be $50. We could see prices that are higher than that, but I think it's a bit unrealistic to call for that, right? Earlier this cycle, way back in the day, we were thinking maybe we could see a $100 price or so by the end of the cycle, because mana really does like its 1.886. But I think that's a bit far-fetched at this point in time, right? I think a $50 price, I can speak for all of us in the Decentraland community whenever I say that, we'll take it. That's fine, right? From here, that would give you about a 157x. Mana at a current market cap of $600 million, a 100x would be a $60 billion market cap. So 150x, that'd be around 100 billion. It's not quite at 100 billion, I think, but maybe it's just above, but I think it is just below 100 billion, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so this $50 would take you to just above $100 billion market cap. That could be a good area of resistance, guys. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but psychologically speaking, $50, that's a good area of resistance. The 1.618 golden ratio, that's a good area of resistance on the fibs. Trading bots, speculators like myself will pay attention to that area, right? It's a very obvious area in itself. And then also, I want to make sure that I'm on log here, because I'm pretty sure I am, but yeah, okay, good. And then also the psychological level, not just of $50 in price, but of $100 billion in market cap, that could provide resistance as well. I very much do believe that by the end of the cycle, mana can see a 157x. This is why it's one of my largest positions in crypto. Not because of the maximum potential, but because of the minimum potential. The minimum potential here is at 48x, 49x almost, right? That's a $15 price. The average expectation for the average coin is to do something on the lines of like a 30x. You're going to do 15x or almost 20x times that, or more than that, 20x more than that, in an additive kind of format, not a multiplicative format. Anyways, if you're at a minimum outperforming what the average coin's going to do at their maximum, this is a good coin to be in my opinion. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but it's been around for multiple cycles. It has longevity. It's got a very bullish chart forming very good structure, finding support here and accumulating here right above your last cycle's highs. Okay, we're just consolidating down here for whatever reason for a very long time. When this breaks, whenever we break out of this box, it's going to be a rapid onslaught to the upside. I don't believe that we're going to see new all-time highs right away, but I very much do believe we're going to see some powerful movements by the end of June. And depending on how high we go, this will validate the notion that we won't just hit $15, but break through $15. And the higher up we go, if we do see prices above $283 by the end of June, I think that $50 and $24 are completely appropriate targets by the end of this cycle, which I think will be by the end of November or later. I'm going to end the video in 1 second. I just want to talk a little bit more here. Okay, we're in a cycle now where institutional players have come to play. They've been around for a while. They've been around, I think, since 2015, 2017 at the earliest, right? But they're coming in droves now. Not just institutions, but government entities as well. The United States has announced 5 cryptos in its crypto strategic reserve. There's going to be other governments that do the same thing, right? There's going to be. When it comes to institutions, whenever it comes to governments, whenever it comes to people with a lot of money investing in a coin, are they going to put money into a brand new coin that's already worth billions of dollars in market cap valuation? Or are they going to look for a coin that has longevity, that's been around for multiple cycles, that's done something that most cryptos can't do and won't do, which is see new highs cycle after cycle and form higher lows cycle after cycle? Most cryptos don't do that, right? They get one cycle and then they're done. Not only are you forming higher highs and higher lows, but you're also holding key areas of support at your prior area of resistance here. There's not a lot of hype going on. Resistance, I don't know why I can't talk. There's not a lot going on with mana right now. There's not a lot of narratives or news that's being pushed out that's pumping the price, but they are doing work. There is development going on all the time with these Decentraland, and their user base is cycle over cycle is only increasing. That's the truth. Sandbox last cycle, the case was made for Sandbox to overthrow Mana because it had more users. There's more users now in Mana than there is on a daily basis in Sandbox, right? And that's the only direct competitor that it has. Mana has longevity. I think Sandbox also has longevity. If you're invested in Mana, not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but I think Sandbox is a good investment as well. Both of them I think are going to do well and see new all-time highs. But Mana is the OG token, sticking to the notion of this is the financial institution cycle where institutions come to play, where governments come to play. Mana is the OG metaverse token. It's the first metaverse crypto that's ever existed. And in this world that we live in, not just in crypto, but in crypto especially, firsts have a lot of value, right? The first crypto that ever existed, Bitcoin, it's the Mac Daddy. The first crypto that ever existed with smart contracts, Ethereum, it's the second in command. The first crypto that's appealing to banks and wanting to be used as like a central banking coin, XRP. It's the number 3 crypto. There's no mistake here, right? Dogecoin, the very first meme coin. It's the top meme coin of the game. It's been in the top 10 for years now, right? The firsts tend to do Caspa, the very first DAG crypto, saw 1,000x or more this cycle already. Crazy. It's been a dud. It's been a real dud over the last year, but it had a really good cycle, and it was the first of its kind. My whole point is Mana is the first of its kind. Institutional players are probably going to look at the more secure, safe bets. And how do you know if something's safe or secure? How do you know it's going to be here for the next cycle if you don't even have historical references to reference, right? This thing does. It's been very bullish. It's in a very nice postured uptrend, and it's finding support at key areas. It wouldn't surprise me if, even if institutional players believe in the metaverse or don't believe in the metaverse as having a future in whatever future it might have, they could at least speculate on it because it's the very first metaverse token in crypto in human history. And that in itself could be worth something. Mana in itself is a deflationary coin. Every time you spend mana on land in the Decentraland metaverse, you do burn mana. Effectively, all of it's gone. So this thing is deflationary over time. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but as long as the dollar is inflationary and as long as mana retains some relevance, it's only going to grow in value. Right, and that's I don't know what else to say. So I very much do expect good things out of this. It's one of my largest holds for a reason. I think we will get an opportunity to buy below 30 cents again. I think it might happen over the coming days, and it would not surprise me at all if by the end of this month of April, if we were above 40 cents, 50 cents, and maybe even beyond that. But ultimately, we're on a path that takes us much higher. I've got nothing else for you guys. Breaking above 77 cents, 75 cents on a weekly basis, that will trigger a explosive response, breaking out of this accumulation phase. We're going to see movements like this. We're going to see movements like this. It's coming, but probably sometime in June or May, late May if I had to guess. So that's all I got. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.